Okay, welcome everyone. As we learned the Mishna Yomis, by the way, the second Mishna Yomis, finishing the third parak, was uploaded later on last night, and it is available on TorahAnytime.com, YouTube, Kolaloshin. And now we start the fourth parak of Masechtas Yevamos, just moving along on one of the hottest Masechtas in Shas, sponsored Iloi Nishmas Avram Yeshaya ben Shmaryo Yosef L'fu Shalema Fel Yomis ben Chayesar, the schus of Avram Yom Benish ben Malki Yudis and family, by the Fish family, Iloi Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Peril Bas Ruvain, then the Neshama should have an Aliyah by Yoel Klugman and family, L'fu Shalema from my Shver Avigdoraya ben Rivka, Hayelad ben Chava, Meir ben Chayesar. They should all have a L'fu Shalema B'Sek Shar Chayla Yisrael. HaChayla Yitzli Yavimtai. If, let's say, Reuven was married to Sarah, Reuven died childless, and Shimon gave chalitza to Sarah, and then v'nimtzas muberes, and then he found that she was pregnant. Now, of course, if she has a child, she doesn't need chalitza, right? V'yolda, and she gives birth. So bizman shavlad shel kayama, if the child is viable, and the child lives for 30 days and is a viable child, so then the chalitza was unnecessary. So therefore, she doesn't have a din of a chalutza to Shimon, and therefore Shimon is permitted to her relatives. She's permitted to his relatives, and she's not forbidden to a kain. If the child, however, died and was ruled that it was never a viable child, then the chalitza was necessary. Then she is his chalutza, who also b'krayv. He's forbidden to her relatives. He asur b'krayv. She's forbidden to his relatives. Psalam and a kahuna. And since she's a chalutza, she's disqualified from kahuna. Now, here's the plot thickens. Reuven is married to Sarah, and Reuven dies childless, and Shimon is miyabim Sarah. Oy vey, v'nimtzas muberes. It's found that she was pregnant from her husband. So therefore, Yibum wasn't necessary. Yibum is done lachem shem, but she's pregnant from her husband. V'yolda, and she gives birth. Bizman shavlad shel kayama, if the child is a viable child, then Yoitzi, then he has to, of course, send her away. Doesn't need a get. He never had a right to marry her because it's an Eishes Ach Shaloi B'mkai Mitzvah. It's his brother's wife without a mitzvah. And since unwittingly he did an Issachorus, v'chayavim b'karban, he has to bring a chatas. However, v'ima'in avlad shel kayama, but if the child is not viable, then there is a mitzvah of Yibum, Yekayim, he could keep her, and the mitzvah of Yibum was fulfilled. Oh, now comes a serious problem. Safik ben Tisha l'Rishon, Safik ben Shiva l'Achron. Sarah gives birth. We're not sure whose baby it is. Is it a posthumous 9-month baby from her first husband, from Reuven? Or is it a premature 7th-month baby from Shimon? Now, if it's a premature baby from Shimon, then Shimon would be able to keep her, because then Reuven died childless. But since we don't know, it could be a 9-month baby from Reuven, and then, of course, there's no mitzvah of Yibam, and it would be an Eishes Ach Shaloi B'mkai mitzvah. So misafik yoitzi, Shimon has to send her away. He has to give her a get, because maybe it's his child, and it was a good Yibam, so he has to give her a get. Va'avlad kosher, the child is not a mamzer regardless. Because if it's Reuven's child, so then Reuven had the child. It was when he was married to Sarah. If it's Shimon's child, then there was a mitzvah of Yibam. So the child is kosher, mamanav shach. The chayovim ba'ashim tali. But Shimon has to bring a ashim tali because he might have been over an Isser. Because it might have been Reuven's child, and then he married an Eishes Ach Shaloi B'mkai mitzvah. where there's a suffix that he might be chayiv v'chatas, but he doesn't know, because maybe it's his child, and then he wasn't over an Isser. So he brings an Ashim Toli, which is a case where you're not sure if you did an Isser Chatas or not. We want to thank you very much for joining us. Remind you that tomorrow night, again, the shir is at 8 o'clock as we continue our journey through Bava Kama, and have a wonderful evening.